Yeah. Welcome to the room where queens rise, where voices get louder, where power meets purpose. This is Linda Love Talks. Started with a vision, fire in my soul, turned every setback into solid gold. Crown on my mindset, thrown in my lane, speaking true louder, breaking every chain.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Linda Love Talks, the podcast where we explore powerful conversations with leaders, innovators, and voices that are shaping the future. I'm your host, Linda Love, and today's episode is titled One of the Youngest in Politics. Politics is often seen as a world dominated by long careers and decades of experience. But every generation brings forward new voices, new ideas, and young leaders willing to step up and participate in shaping the future of their communities. Today, we're joined by Brayden, a young voice in the world of politics who represents the next generation of civic engagement and leadership. At a time when many young people are just becoming to explore their path, Brayden is already stepping into conversations about policy, public service, and the responsibilities of leadership. In this episode, we talk about what it means to be one of the youngest voices in politics, why youth engagement matters more than ever, and how the next generation is preparing to shape the future of government, democracy, and civic life. So sit back and tune in, and please join me in welcoming Brayden to Linda Love Talks. Hi, everyone. It's Linda Love Talks. It's season 4 of Linda Love Talks, and I'm here with Brayden Caraynoff-Huber, correct?
Huber.
Huber. And I'm just going to get right into the questions. What inspired you to pursue a master's degree in political management at the George Washington University?
Well, prior to getting to George Washington, I had done 3 years at Penn State University. That was for my bachelor's degree. But I figured my education wasn't really, done at that point. I mean, I'd only spent 3 years. At that point, I was still 18 years old. I felt like there was a lot more learning I could do. So I decided to pursue a master's degree, as I figured that would also give me a lot more information, a lot more qualifications for the jobs that I want to pursue in life. I mean, I learned a lot at Penn State, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout my year at George Washington, I learned a lot more. It was a lot more specialized too, specifically about politics.
Wonderful. How did you experience at GWU, George Washington University, shape your understanding of politics and governance?
Well, it definitely gave me a better understanding of both subjects. I got knowledge on foreign and domestic politics. Classes about how foreign governments work, how their democracies work, parliament, and everything. And having gone to Germany for a residency during my time, it has definitely given me great knowledge on that. But it's also given me better understanding of how campaigning works, budgeting, how social media is supposed to be done, and all that stuff. I definitely learned a lot about that through this program.
You're actually interning with Representative Darren LaHood. I can't say his last name, oh my God. But what has that experience been like so far?
It's been pretty good. It actually ends this week. On this
yay!
This Friday
Good for
will be my
you.
last day.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a pretty good experience with Representative LaHood. I've been doing a lot of writing. The people I've been working with, they're pretty chill. They're pretty cool. I mostly was helping around the office, answering phone calls from constituents and putting down their concerns. So it definitely gave me a bit of an insider look as to how an actual congressional office works and how the people like people look at a representative from the outside most of the time, They always see their appearances, they always see their speeches, whatever, but they don't actually get a good look into how their offices work. The people that work in and around them, they don't get a good look into that. And I was able to get a good look and actually sort of firsthand experience what it's like to work for a representative.
Wonderful. What are some lessons that you've learned working on the Hill that surprised you?
Um, my time with Representative Hood, I've learned that a lot of people like to call the congressman. A lot of people. I have to, every morning when I go into work, I go to the internship, I have to, one of the first things I do is go straight to the phones and type in the password to check the voicemails. We had like, last I checked, it was like 18 voicemails, but the highest I ever remember was like 84 voicemails. A lot of people like to call the congressman, not so much now because, uh, a lot of stuff isn't really happening
Hmm.
in Congress much. Um, but a lot of people like to call the congressman and ask for for his opinions on the current political issues. They also like to call for help.
Hmm.
They contact the congressman for help, like when it comes to Veterans Affairs benefits or Social Security.
Running for Minoka trustee is a bold move. Um, what motivated you to throw your hat in the ring and to run?
Well, I had to start somewhere in politics, right?
Hmm.
Uh, what really motivated me was just the idea of actually helping my community in a way that could be measured. I mean, I had helped my community for many years before with my 4-H stuff, such as creating a free little library over by the local police station, or the almost decade of pop tab dump days where I recycled aluminum for the Run Without a House charity. Um, that was all good, but that was more so in a monetary way.
Hmm.
All the money that went to the Ronald McDonald House, they had to spend somehow, and I don't know where any of that money went. But if I had running from Nooka trustee, if I had won the position, I'd actually be able to influence policy. I'd probably be able to influence the I'm trying to think of the word, the town like statutes and stuff. I'd be able to influence that and actually make a difference in my community.
Right. And usually the council, don't they usually assist the mayor in certain items with the town?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. What was the most challenging part of running a local campaign while still being in school?
I'd have to say time management
Mm,
because the election happened over like 2 semesters, and those were some of the most stressful classes I've had to go through. Um, I had to basically juggle my time between going to doors of the people talking about my campaign, asking local businesses to put out signs for my campaign, putting out stuff on social media, and of course, within all of that, getting my actual schoolwork done, so I get good grades and so I can actually graduate.
right.
It was a big juggling act. I probably could have made it to the circus.
Right. I'm sure you probably felt the pressure. Um, what issues mattered most to you in your community, and how did you address them in your platform while you were running?
Mostly, it was about fiscal stuff like
Mhm.
um, taxes. There was another candidate in my campaign who was running mostly on the fact that he supported lower taxes. Um, and there was also infrastructure because in the online circles on Facebook, some people were concerned about an intermodal being built in Shanahan, which is
Mhm.
the town right next to mine. And there were all these posts on Facebook, complaining about it, being opposed to it, and I feel like that was kind of a big issue. But at the same time, I really don't know what the people were really concerned with because for weeks, barely anybody goes to town hall meetings.
Mhm.
It, we have meetings like every week on like Wednesday or Tuesday, and most of the time it would just be me and one of my opponents in the seats, just sitting there, doing nothing but listen to what the local government was wanting to get done.
Question: do you plan to run for office again in the future? If so, what's next?
Absolutely. I may have, look, this was just one step in a very, very long journey that I plan on taking. Uh, I think my next office, if I don't run again for local office, will probably be a state office, like state representative, or I could try Congress, either or.
That would be exciting. What role do you think that young leaders should play in shaping the future of American politics?
Uh, well, I think we need more young people getting involved in politics, people my age. You know, when you look at like any news coverage of Congress and they're talking to an actual representative or senator, it's always somebody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, talking about what they're going to do, what they plan on doing, not saying what needs to be done.
Hmm.
Really, I just think there needs to be more people who aren't old enough to collect their Social Security checks yet.
Mm,
I,
absolutely.
I think we need a lot more people my age because we're young.
Yeah.
We may not be the smartest generation, but then again, not every generation is super smart.
Hmm.
But I think we definitely need a lot more people who don't need like I don't know dye to keep their hair from being gray.
Oh, that was funny. How do you stay grounded while navigating high pressure political environments?
Well, I think I just don't let myself get overwhelmed with I try my best not to let myself get overwhelmed with what's going on. I try my best to stay calm,
Hmm.
which does work sometimes, but works most of the time. But sometimes I need like a third party to, kind of reassure me that hey, everything's going to be fine. Like throughout the campaign, I probably wouldn't have even made it through if I didn't have my parents just helping me out when I
Hmm.
needed it.
Which is awesome. What advice would you give to other students or young professionals who want to enter politics?
Hmm. Well, I think the first thing that people should really uh, put into their minds when going into politics is that you're not going to win every single time. You're not going to win your first time. Who knows? It's really just a big gamble. I think if you can accept that fact that you're not guaranteed to win in any election that you run in, you're going to be a lot less disappointed. I mean, there's always disappointment with losing, but if you just accept the fact that really it's like gambling in Vegas.
Mm, right.
If you go into politics knowing that it's a gamble, you'll be a
Hmm.
lot more humble, and
Mm,
you'll stay humble while running. Uh, Other than that, I don't really have much advice, given
right.
that I've only run in one election.
Right. But I think the way you've entered politics has been really interesting. I mean, you really have started like from the bottom of it. Like I've looked at your LinkedIn and you've interned for quite a few individuals. So I think that is such a great way to start because you're really learning like from the ground up. How do you balance idealism and pragmatism in today's polarized political landscape?
Oh, we're using big words now.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I think there should be an equal balance between idealism and pragmatism. There are times when one is specifically needed, but you really should have a healthy balance. I think you need idealism so you have something to fight for, and then pragmatism to make what you fight for possible.
That's an excellent answer. I don't think I've ever had anyone answer a question that well as you have. What's one thing you wish more people would understand about local government?
The one thing that I wish they understand is that it actually affects them. There are people, local government is just as important as the state government or federal government. So sometimes I'd say it's the most important. Um, to give an example, in this last election, less than a few thousand people actually voted. and there's only 12,000 people in my town. Barely anybody votes
Mm.
in local elections, especially consolidated ones, when they should. I mean, we are a democracy. We have the right to choose. Excuse me. We have the right to choose who is leading our country, who is making the decisions that really affect us. People should be using that right more often, especially in these local elections.
Absolutely. How has your personal leadership style changed, evolved through your academic and political experiences?
I feel like my leadership style has stayed the same over the few years, but what really has changed is the fact that I've gotten more knowledge, more wisdom. I've probably become more wise in my leadership now than I was 5 years ago.
Was there a moment during your campaign or internship that truly tested your character or values?
Yeah, there definitely were times during the election, um, because I had to contend with a candidate who on Facebook and social media would copy what I had posted and then posted it to their accounts like less than an hour later, 20 minutes at least. And then there were other candidates who were already in the local government, the incumbents,
Hmm.
and they probably already had the support of the local government, and not to mention the fact that I came in with no paying job. I don't have a lot of savings. I haven't been doing this for 20 years. This is my first real romp into politics.
Hmm.
I feel like this entire election was testing my character and values. Um, and with the internship, um, there were constant protests on issues from perspectives that I really disagreed with, but perspectives that are allowed to, be out there because we have the First Amendment. Uh, and they were in front of the office building. And what separated me between all the protesters was just a wall and some glass. That's all that kept between me and my coworkers and protesters. Thankfully, none of them ever got rowdy or whatever, and they were all peaceful,
Hmm.
and they were just holding up signs. But I felt that also was a bit of a test.
Well, yeah, definitely. What happened? What habits or routines have you helped that you've developed as a leader that helps you stay focused on your goals?
I'd say that one habit that I have developed over the years is just thinking about the long term,
Mm.
thinking about what is my goal, what am I going to do, what do I. I thought the real thing is, what do I wish to achieve
Mm.
with this? Like
Mm.
during these classes, what do I think to myself during all these hard classes with tests and everything? Why am I doing this? Well, because I want to get a master's degree. Why do I want to get a master's degree? Because I want more qualifications in politics and I want
Hmm.
to, run for office. I always thought about why I was doing it, and that helped me really stay focused.
Excellent. Who has been a major influence or a mentor in your journey, and what have you learned from them?
First and foremost, the biggest influence in my journey has been my parents. They've been very supportive of this, and my mother has been willing to do so much for my development and growth. And really, I owe her a lot as to why I'm here.
Hmm.
She basically helped my campaign so much in ways that I'll never be able to pay back. But my I'd say my actual mentors were the teachers from GW and Penn State University. A few I could think of off the top of my head is Dr. Danello
Yes.
from the international politics class and the European residencies. She's a very nice lady, really like her. Um, she's very knowledgeable and definitely supportive of my, uh, my stuff that I did in classes. And Professor Ford O'Connell, he was in one of my early classes in my time here, and he was really, really knowledgeable uh, on the topic of the class. And if I needed something, he was pretty good with giving me advice how to achieve a goal and not just telling me what I needed to do.
How do you handle setbacks or criticism, especially in the public and political arena?
Well, I'd say I have some pretty thick skin.
Hmm.
I just take every setback and criticism that comes my way, and I just keep going. I've always believed that nobody should stop because somebody criticized them, or if something doesn't go their way. I I believe in the indomitable human spirit,
Hmm.
uh, and I think no matter what happens, I have to keep fighting. I have to keep going, because you know if I stop now, I'm never going to get to my goal. If I stop
Right.
now, I'm not going to win a public office.
Hmm.
Yeah, uh,
Definitely.
I believe in the idea that it's not over until I win.
Nice. That's such a good spirit. What does success mean to you personally, and has it changed over time?
Well, success to me is a lot more than just winning or losing elections. I believe that success is what a person does after winning the election, or after getting a job that really matters. It's what they do in that position that determines whether or not they are a success. Sure, somebody could have a successful presidential campaign and become president for 4 years, but if they do nothing in those 4 years, was it really successful? If I do what I set out to do in a political position, then that's success, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was excellent. And actually, I just want to let all the listeners know that I am reaching across both aisles. I've had a Democrat on this season as well as a Republican on this season, and I think it's wonderful that both parties can come here on Linda Love Talks and have a conversation. So thank you so much for being on the show.
No problem.
Now let's talk. Linda Love Talks.